Now, guys, let's get started with the predictions for this year's Empro Classic next week. And I do have, sadly, in last place, to Vicente Maria. I mean, this guy is really good on his own right. But the thing here is that the caliber of competition is really insane, and he have been away from the stage for quite a while already. I think that his last show was in 2014 or 2016, something like that. So even though he's a workhorse and I really respect that, I do not see him placing above any of the other guys at this. Then we have Josema underscore Beast, which honestly, in my own opinion, and if you ask me, as he's Spanish, very likely his name is Jose Maria. I mean, like that's a very common name in the Latin community, not just the Spanish guys from Spain, but Mexican and Latin in general. Now, what the thing with this guy is that he just turned pro a few weeks ago. Even though he just turned pro, he's 21, he's super thriving for the show, and at his age, and by what we have seen in with a lot of pros, they can make improvements from a show to show. I am putting him here because I don't know if he's going to be able to do that much improvements, but that doesn't mean he cannot make a surprise and give us a crazy showing at this year's Empro Pro Classic. Now, what we do have next is going to be Jorge Zamorano. And the thing with Jorge is not that he's a bad bodybuilder. The thing with him is going to be his structure. He's kind of this more stocky, blockier guy. I don't know his height, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, but he has this not that pleasant structure. His back is really decent, as you can see from these shots, but we really haven't seen this guy that much. It's really hard to place him, and there are guys who, in my opinion, are better in size and shape, which ultimately are going to be the two things that can make him drop at this show. Then we have Roman Fritz, which has a similar issue like the other two guys. The only difference with Roman is that his main problem is going to be the size, but what he's going to be for sure, it's going to be the most conditioned guy on that on that Empro Pro stage. I mean, his only real weakness is his size, guys, because even the structure of this guy isn't bad, and he has all the details that you can have or you could ask for. I mean, like, if he was able to bring up the size that by these updates, I do not think he did. Is not being harsh with Roman. We all love his work ethics, but sadly we have to be real when making these predictions, and I have him on this spot. Then after him, we are going to have another relatively new pro, which is Wolski Christian. And Wolski, it's looking with a better shape and a similar size to the two prior guys, but mainly the shape, guys. And as the shape have been favored on these pro shows, I do see that he has a shot at cracking and taking over these other guys that I mentioned prior. But I do feel still that he will need some conditioning and size. The similar thing is going to happen with Emir Omaragic, but with him we are going to another level. Just remember, this guy was in the top 5 at the annual Classic South America, and besides his shape, which isn't the best, and as he's young, he still needs to fill out his frame. He's still bigger than the guys prior, and he knows how to come in shredded to the bone, which are two things that are going to prepare him and get him into this position. I mean, I do feel that if someone slips up, he's going to pass up him. As a good example as it is Peter Klansher, where I believe that it is in a similar size level as Emir Omaragic, But the thing with Peter is that even though he's looking humongous in this footage and by his own, we have seen him when he is with other pros, he isn't looking that big. And I think that that is going to happen at this show still. I don't know if he had been able to fill up his frame as much as he needs to in order to be competitive and like be competitive with a guy like Criso. The thing with Criso is that, and when you see these two guys on the stage, is that Criso is going to look crazy humongous. And I don't know if Peter is going to be able to take him, even though I do have him in a very good spot, similar to John Pradel's, which in my opinion, he's a little bit bigger, he has a decent structure, and if he can bring the conditioning, he can be as high as 4th place, guys. That's how good this new guy is. He just turned pro. So this is just starting, but I do not think, even though the crazy amount of hype that this man is getting, I do not think he's going to be able to challenge Criso, Wellington, or Andrea Presti. And now I do have in my 3rd place Wellington Fernando, who just took runner-up to a crazy good 1st place finisher, Beruz Tabani. And remember, this man beat a Pro Show winner in Vitor Buff. And his front and side shots are really good. Realistically, the mainly part where he needs to add the size is on his back shots. And if, as you can see, he's practicing the poses. So that's an indication that he's probably going to be able to improve on that, which is something that he needed to do from the last showing that he did. I have high hopes for Wellington being on 3rd place at this show, but I do not feel he's still on the level of these 2 Pro Show winners like Andrea Presti, who have just qualified in 2 consecutive years on the Portugal Pro to the Mr. Olympia. That's how good this man is. And his legs are not looking where they need to be, but definitely they are looking more balanced towards his upper body. Especially like the back shots, as you can see here, he's already shredded. So he's going for the crazy conditioning at this show, probably in order to be able to match Michael Chris in some way or take some points from him. Because Michael is going for the win. He took over Andrea at the Mr. Olympia. He was out of the top 15 while Michael Criso was top 12. So honestly, as long as someone enters to in this last minute that can challenge Criso, I do have Criso winning. There's no other way around it unless another freak of nature shows up that haven't competed this year neither, like someone maybe on the top 11, top 9. I do not think Andrew Jack will do it, Rafa Grandal. I mean, there are a lot of guys that even though they could have done it, they are not really doing the show. So honestly, this is going to be as long as Michael brings the conditioning. His show goes. There's no other way around it with these guys. That's how crazy Michael is at this moment and how good he's looking.